we go. Oh, this pulse is crispy. It really is. It really is.
I think it's time to blow this thing. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Right, my friends, it's all about the Jian 7 pulse rifle. I know you're probably thinking, the Jian 7? Can you even get this thing anymore? I'm not sure if you can. All I know is that it's a Suros pulse rifle and it's an adaptive frame pulse rifle. And I never paid no mind to the adaptive frame pulse rifles until this weekend, Bannerfall Trials. You can see my roll here. We've got SPO 57 front, ricochet rounds, Zen moment, and Rampage. Very, very good roll, counterbalance stock, and a stability master work. I want to talk about why I ended up using this gun first of all. So obviously Bannerfall was the map for Trials of Osiris. You guys ever played Bannerfall and Trials, you know it's very, very campy. I like to use Shappy in Trials of Osiris, and Shappy is a meta weapon right now. And I would say the meta primary weapon archetype is probably a high impact pulse rifle or maybe a DMT and a stag rift when you play on this map. I like to pair up the Shappy with a hand cannon, or maybe a 540 RPM pulse rifle. But I found that on this map, both of those weapons left me limited when playing players who played really far back, you know, in the back of the map with the stag rifts and, you know, all of that stuff. By the way, nice shatter dive. Say hello to Behemoth Titan movement. So I was kind of thinking, what should I use? You know, I could have gone kinetic and maybe used a duality instead of Shappy, but I decided to stay on the Shappy, and I was like, what should I use, man? My Darkest Before isn't hitting. My Jurassic Green with Rangefinder doesn't seem to have enough range. Grid Skipper was also kind of struggling for me on these maps. Don't get me wrong, in mid-range engagements, 540 pulses do great, but when players extend the range on this map, it can become problematic. That's when I went into my Destiny item manager. I'm going to show you that now. On about this a lot, but it's zoom. Take a look at the zoom value on this Jian 7. It's because of the sight. These Suros pulses come with different sights that have different zoom values, and I figured, hey man, 21 zoom, that is some of the highest zoom values in the game without giving you a sight that renders the weapon useless. And there are sights that give you even more zoom on this gun, but they're super zoomed in and very blocky, like the Oculus sights. And you have similar sights as well on something like the Time Worn Spire, which will get you up in the 20 zoom category, but they're unusable in my opinion. This is a nice clean red dot sight. Take a look at that sight. It's nice and clean, and yet it's delivering 21 zoom. What does that mean? Well, it means adaptive pulse rifles typically are not that competitive in my opinion. High impact pulses do the long range job better, and rapid fire pulses do the mid-range job better. However, in the energy slot, there are not too many outstanding high impact pulse rifle options. In fact, the only one that comes to mind is the one that you get from the Moon Dungeon, and it's just an inaccessible weapon. So the reality is, if you want to use a high impact pulse rifle right now, you need to use an energy special weapon. I don't want to do that, so I decided to give the Jian 7 a try, and as you can see in the gameplay, thanks to that 21 zoom, you're able to really compete in long range and long lanes with this gun. And I started to appreciate this archetype a little bit more after using this weapon. I've always looked at the TTK on adaptive frame pulse rifle, and it's not competitive. It's in the 0.9 second area, I believe. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's a 0.9 second TTK. It's a very average TTK, close to borderline being kind of meh. But there are certain things that these guns do. They really kind of live up to that adaptive frame moniker in the way that they are very easy to use. They do really good body shot damage as well. This clip here, you're going to see it right here. I body him with a Shap, I swap to the Jian, and I can clean him up with body shots relatively pain-free. It's a very forgiving weapon archetype, and in those long lanes where you're fighting against DMTs and messengers, you can actually hang with this weapon type, and I was surprised. And the reason why you can hang is, unless the person with the high impact pulse 2 bursts you, you're kind of set, you know? You're kind of still going to be putting in a lot of work. If they don't hit you with that 2 burst, the TTK is pretty much similar, and yet you have to hit a lot less crits, you have more stability, and with this sight on this weapon, you have 21 zoom, which, for reference, is 3 more than the Messenger. Messenger has 18 zoom, this has 21 with this sight. Now the Jian 7, I'm not sure if it's still obtainable. I think it might be obtainable as a world drop, but there is also the Last Perdition as well, which is the same, basically the same weapon, just a crucible variant, and you can roll the same sight on that weapon. Maybe not the exact same perks, but you can roll the same sight, and it's just a very strong option on a map like this. So guys, for the rest of the gameplay, I'm going to let the in-game commentary play out, whereas I can call out some of my teammates, and just remarking upon how solid the Jian 7 was when I ended up using it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the gameplay and the live commentary. If you enjoyed the video so far, do me a favor, drop a thumbs up and subscribe. It'd really help me out.
seconds left.
There you go. Other guy's weak behind the box.
Hold on.
Reloading.
Oh, that guy's so weak. Shit.
There's one on top of the
Guy's weak. Can you see him?
balcony.
Yeah, I shoot him in, but.
About the guy on my right.
There's one across from shade.
10 seconds.
What is
That guy's
this?
so weak again,
Only one enemy is left. The
The other one's
zone
across
is
from
your
shade.
Yeah, I see
On
him.
top.
will not last long this time.
Nice.
Oh, weird. That's why this map sucks.
Only one enemy is left. Opponent revived. 1 minute left, my friend. Only one enemy is left. Opponent revived. Only one enemy is left. Your ally is back in
Good
the
go, man. Hit him with the para style.
You have done. There is no one left.
This
Dog.
Honor was hiding in the back.
Got 4 shappy shots right now.
1 minute left, my
That
friend.
guy was.
You alone will bring
Let's go.
victory.
He's
Oh,
on
let's
the.
go.
I'll let
He's on the divider thingy.
Got a bow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he has Lemonard.
Milo, yeah.
Okay.
30 seconds left. Your ally they tried very hard to
Wait. Two guys in the back.
Got one in the back.
I got you.
Got hit by a bow.
Hey, you have back, you have back.
30 seconds left.
Yours.
Only one enemy is left.
I don't see him. He's trying to get the res where you just killed
Your
him.
ally is back in the fight. Ten seconds.
He has no shields.
Yep.
They tried very hard to. Your ally is back in the fight. Only one enemy is left. Your enemies are dead.
Come on, yeah.
10 seconds.
Ah, he has no shields in the middle. I'm gonna go hop out there.
Only one enemy is left. Darkness sets in.
Miss my last
The
shot.
zone is your
Come in.
salvation. Your ally is back in the fight.
Let's go.
That is the round. We're giving their ghosts a lot of pride. One minute left, my friend. Only one enemy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just went fucking crazy in there, man.